Hello and welcome to our Monday afternoon live broadcast. I believe today is the 19th of March. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. Actually, I think today's this is the 19th, and tomorrow is, I think, the first day of spring here in the United States. I think it's this first day of spring everywhere. So hopefully you guys are all getting ready to enjoy the change of the season, if the season is going to be changing warm wherever it is you are tuning in from. Remember, our live broadcasts are changing this week. We're only live broadcasting here Mondays and Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then we'll be doing a live broadcast most Fridays at 3 p.m. on the other page. However, Michael will be out of town this Friday, touring some colleges with Logan, so we will not have a live broadcast on Friday over on our IF Keto Family Life page. So just a little updates for those. But welcome if you are joining us live today. I always appreciate you guys being here. If you wouldn't mind, take a second to please leave me a comment in the comment section. That way I know you were here and we can have more of a dialogue back and forth. Always feel free to put your questions and comments in, and I will address all of that at the end. If you are new, my name is Diane, and for the past 25 years, I've been helping women find nutrition plans and fitness programs to help them look and feel their best and live their most authentic life. And we are doing that here in this community via intermittent fasting and living a keto-like lifestyle. So today we are going to talk about intermittent fasting and our circadian rhythm, and why it is we become temporarily insomniac like when we start intermittent fasting. And I know a lot of women complain about this. When we start intermittent fasting, we have the inability to fall asleep, or maybe don't have the length of sleep that we're used to. And for some, that's a change, and for others, it's kind of normal because, again, a lot of women in our community are intermittent fasting because they're trying to balance out their hormones. All of this, believe it or not, is hormone related. Remember, we have so many hormones in our body, and every time we do something or put something in our body, there is a potential, or there is, in fact, a hormone reaction. The potential could be either negative or positive, depending on how our particular body is going to respond to whatever chemical reaction we are initiating and how our hormones are going to respond to that. So, like I said, lots of people in general, but mostly because we're dealing with this community here, it's women that are here are having problems with their sleep patterns when they start intermittent fasting. When we start intermittent fasting, we're creating a stress in our body, and that stress causes hormones to respond and react. Some of that can be positive, some of that can be negative. Again, it all just depends where every individual woman's body is at the time they start incorporating something like intermittent fasting. One of the reasons that we have that inability to sleep well, or maybe wake up in the middle of the night or have restless nights of sleeping, is because we are turning our bodies from sugar burners to fat burners. And when we are utilizing fat as a source of energy, or we are utilizing our fat more efficiently in our 24-hour period, so our circadian rhythm time frame, then what happens is we have this new abundance or new fuel to use to energize our bodies. That releases a hormone that's related to our neuropeptides. We all know, or if you're in our course, we talk a lot about balancing out our hunger hormones the very first week of our course. Neuropeptide is one of those hunger hormones that we are trying to balance out so that we can manage being in a fasted state and manage the state of hungry. So this neuropeptide also releases a hormone that is what I call the appetite expectancy hormone. It's also called, or the official name is orexin. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I always use the analogy of having a pet, or maybe even feeding a baby on demand. So if you've ever had a dog before and you've fed your dog at the same time, for a majority of their life, your dog or your pet knows when it's, let's say, 5 o'clock. That's the time that they eat. Now, we know that our animals don't have the ability to tell time, yet their body has the ability to tell them or their body systems what time it is when it's time to eat. And so that's what we call our appetite expectancy hormone. That's when a hormone is released to let us know that we need to start turning up our appetite because it's time for us to eat. This is the same sort of circadian rhythm or biological mechanisms that our body have when it comes to sleep patterns. When we have that system of sleepness and the sleepness of awakeness, and it's all based on our 24-hour time period. We get sleepy generally at the same time. For a lot of people, they can wake up in the morning without having to use an alarm clock. Their body just knows when it's time to wake up. A lot of this is from training or just hormonal balance and your body being in a rhythm, the circadian rhythm. Well, when we introduce intermittent fasting, we jumble that up a little bit. And just like our hormones, all these rhythms and all these clocks are interconnected in our body system. So when we throw one off, the other one responds. Hence why it's difficult for us to fall asleep or get a good night's sleep when we start incorporating something like intermittent fasting. Remember, we're shifting all of our hormones. Now, this is a good shift because what we're hoping to do is get them back into balance if we've been suffering from some imbalances. So this difficulty of sleeping really does only last for a few days for most people. It could last longer, again, depending on how long or how far out your personal hormones are out of balance. But the good news is it does come back into balance, and we can eventually get ourselves back into sleeping well. So time and consistency is that thing that I always stress here in this community, or if you're one of the members of our courses, that with time and consistency, things will eventually balance out. You just have to get through those rough patches and those uncomfortable days until you get to that point where you are sleeping like a baby. So I'm going to go over my notes here just to make sure I don't miss anything that I wanted to talk about specifically about hormones here today. So one of the reasons why, we have that appetite expectancy hormone that gets kind of thrown out of balance when we push back a feasting period or we drastically change how we're feeding our body. And just like our body clocks with sleep patterns, we also have those same type of clocks with our feeding pattern. And again, we have that appetite expectancy hormone, which signals off when we're expecting to eat. So if you've been eating 6 times a day, every couple of hours for the majority of your life, like most of us have been, and then you suddenly go 16, 18, 20 hours without putting any food in your body, that's going to cause an upset in your body. And we have what are called peripheral oscillators. And these are connected to the organs in our body. And when things are thrown out of balance, these things just get out of whack. What we need to do is get them back into talking to each other and working in a system, or we want them to be oscillating in the same type of pattern so that everything eventually gets into a balanced state. So here's where, again, I have to emphasize that time and consistency are key to your success with something like intermittent fasting. If you're sort of, and for lack of a better term, half-assing your intermittent fasting, and you sort of fast one day and then maybe you don't fast at all the next, or maybe you only fast on Fridays, then what's going to happen is your body's going to constantly be in this state of upset because it's never going to know when it's going to get fed, and it's never going to know when there's going to be long periods of time where it's going to go without food. So your body's not going to have its own natural or innate ability to balance out those hormones because it's a huge guessing game for your circadian rhythm. Your body doesn't know if things are going to come or go, or if you're going to be fed or not fed. And the same thing happens to people who have, inconsistent like work schedules or sleep schedules. Your hormones are completely out of balance because your body doesn't know when it's going to rest again. Same thing happens when you start intermittent fasting, which is why I strongly recommend that you get yourself on a system, especially in the beginning when you're trying to balance out so many hormones, that you really do your best to work off a clock. And you say, I'm going to fast for X amount of hours. I'm going to break my fast at this time. I'm going to feast for these many hours, and then you start the cycle again. This is really important in the beginning because we do want those peripheral oscillators to regulate one another and know how to rely on each other as far as, I don't know why someone's trying to call me so desperately at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry about that. We want all of those systems to feed off each other and bounce off each other in a state of balance. So this is why fasting for a set amount of time, feasting for a set amount of time, and then making sure that you're consistent with it while you're going through these beginning phases so that you can balance out and hormonally you feel in check. Remember, our emotions are hormonally connected to all of this as well. So if we fast good for one day and then don't fast good for a couple days and then try to fast again, we're always in that fight or flight type of feeling emotionally because we're feeling like we're failing and the sense of hungry doesn't feel good. You're going to go back to that inability to get good sleep. Oh, you guys, I am so sorry. My phone keeps falling off my iPad. Hold on just a second. Hopefully this will be the last time I have to put it up there and you have to see my arm like that. Okay, so this is why consistency is super key, because we want to make sure that we have the best opportunity to be successful with what we're trying to do with getting everything in balance. So putting something on your calendar, following a good fasting clock, following a good feasting clock, knowing that within a 24-hour period, you want to have enough time to get yourself into that clean fasted state so that you have the opportunity to benefit from what you're going to do in your feasting window. I don't know why that keeps falling off. Hopefully it'll stay on and we'll jump off really quickly so it doesn't fall off again. So here's the good news about your circadian rhythm and what you're doing with your intermittent fasting. They work well together. They're designed to work well together. We really are designed to have our body system be in a fasted state. We've talked about all the benefits of what intermittent fasting can do, and our body works well when it has its own resources to rely on to get through its day. Not food. We don't necessarily need food to get through our day. We really want to tap into the resources that our body has stored up on itself. So one of the other things that I wanted to share with you guys, which I think is fascinating, especially with this community of women here who are so, we all seem to be suffering with the same sort of things at the same stage in life. And I know for me, it was a big shocker when I was diagnosed with a pre-diabetic state and insulin resistance. One of the key components, again, hormonal balance is what we're trying to achieve here, is that melatonin and insulin work either with each other or against each other. And this is where intermittent fasting and living a keto-like lifestyle can really help with what we're suffering as far as inconsistent sleep or our ability to fall asleep when we're trying to hit the bed or get a good night's sleep without waking up several times throughout the night. And that is that when our melatonin levels increase, this leads to a down regulation of insulin secretion. So we've all heard about the fact that getting a good night's sleep really does help us with managing our weight and reducing body fat. We need to get our sleep. We need those melatonin levels to be high. That's the stuff that helps us sleep, the hormone that helps regulate our sleep. And when our melatonin levels are high, our insulin is low. So if we're getting inconsistent sleep or we're having some of those insomnia type of bouts that we tend to have when our other hormones are out of balance, then that is a natural reaction for our insulin to be increased. That's when we start to run into some problems. I know that's probably was a big cause of what I was going through as well, because all of my hormones were so out of whack that of course I wasn't getting good sleep at night, which means my melatonin was low because that's what's naturally going to help me sleep. And my insulin levels were totally out of whack. Some of it was nutritional, some of it was other hormones being out of whack. And obviously it was some stuff that was going on with my lack of quality of sleep. So what can we do to fix all this? Again, it's a simple concept. Time and consistency and practicing good, clean, long fast and feasting well with a keto-like lifestyle so that you can keep your carbohydrates at a level that are not going to spike a bunch of insulin. So you have a bunch of insulin running around in your body that you're not able to manage well. then you have all this stored glycogen, and if you can't burn that off, then you have the insulin levels are going to be higher, your melatonin levels are going to be lower. Then it has this snowball effect of hormones being out of control. And it seems that intermittent fasting is the be-all, end-all cure for a lot of these issues that we're having. So if you're new to intermittent fasting, you need to just trust that everything will balance out if you are consistent and you are fasting for a long enough period of time that your own personal body's hormones will balance out. When I was first starting, the best thing that I did for myself was really slow down in all other aspects of my life. I cut out exercising. I cut out anything in my life that was stressful. I cut out anything that was just a necessity for my life. And I really did focus on honing in on getting that good, clean fast, getting that nutrient-dense feast in my body, and doing that for a long enough period of time until I started seeing the positive effects of my own body. And I saw those through just the changes in my sleep patterns. I saw it through the changes in my mood. I saw it in the changes in which my body started to just change the way it looked and the way it felt. And it was just a period of time of experimenting until I got to the right windows. For most women, we are finding that 20-hour fast and that 4-hour feast is the sweet spot to really balance out all of our hormones so that other aspects of our life can also improve. And I know for a lot of us, it's improved in areas we would have never imagined. Now, does that mean that you have to fast for 20 hours and can only feast for 4 hours for the rest of your life? For some women, probably. But I know for myself, and I just posted about this today, I'm back into exercising again because I do feel like I'm a healed woman. And I really love and have missed what I used to do as far as exercise goes. And so I have to now alter my fasting and my feasting window to accommodate the extra caloric burn that I'm taking in on a day, and to make sure that I'm fueling my body so that I don't injure myself or burn out or, any of those kind of things. And so there will be times when you can actually fluctuate your fasting and your feasting window depending on what your lifestyle is and how it's changing. But in the initial stages, I always recommend, while you're healing your body, that you do try to get yourself to that 20 hours of a solid, clean fast with consistent nutrient-dense feasting that is being followed by a keto-like lifestyle, meaning higher fats, moderate to low protein, and very conscious carbohydrates that are nutrient-dense. And then what you'll see over time with your consistency is that everything will start to balance out. And then you'll get to do what most of us in this community are doing, and that is a whole lot of nothing and having the opportunity to embrace everything. I know for Michael and I, we are getting some really deep sleeps when we get to sleep. We may not always get the 8 hours that we hope to get. We're a busy family. We have busy kids and we have a busy life. And so there are times when our sleep is a little shorter than we would like it to be. But I know even like last night, because we're coming off of spring break and we're trying to adjust our circadian rhythms again and get back into some good sleep patterns. I only got about 5 hours of sleep last night, and I feel fantastic today. And had a workout this morning. I have a workout scheduled tonight, and we're getting back into our good feasting and fasting windows today as well. Again, coming off of spring break, and that's what we do. We adjust our lifestyle according to what's going on in our life, and within a couple of days, I'm sure we'll be back to normal. But even off 5 hours of sleep, we slept so soundly and we woke up rested and ready for our day today. So I can promise you that the sleeping pattern does balance out, but you really have to concentrate on all the hormones in your body and make sure that if you're going to intermittent fast, that you commit to something that is going to give you the opportunity to balance out your body's hormones so your systems can start to regulate and then help they regulate off of each other, which is the most beautiful thing. Okay, so let me come over here on YouTube. And YouTube, I totally apologize for the fact that you've fallen down so many times today. Michael and I always try to make sure that we have you secure in your spot, but some days it just doesn't work, so I apologize for that. Amy from Maryland, I look forward to joining the April class. Oh, I'm excited to have you join us, Amy. Thanks for jumping in with us. And there you go, you fell again. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to hold you, YouTube and Facebook. I'll be over there in just a second. I'm sure it's super violent on your end, and I'm so sorry. Ida, hello. Glorimar, hi from Massachusetts, new to keto and IF. Awesome. 1 week in. Keep us posted. Nikita from Washington, alumni, loving your IF lifestyle. Awesome. Terry from Montana. I've been sleeping somewhat better for sure. Awesome. So just stick it out. That's the best advice I can give you, is to stick out what it is you're doing with your fasting and your feasting, and make sure those hormones stay balanced out. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Terry Lalia, I think, is it Layla? I think. Hello from Finland. Just recently started learning about IF and have been following you with great interest. Oh, awesome. I hope you're going to join our course soon. We go deeper into this stuff in our course for sure, and try to help you more individually inside the course. Cindy, hello. Molly from the March group. Molly, good to have you with us today. Or Holly, sorry. Good to have you with us. Patricia from Spokane, Washington. Wow, this is interesting. Awesome. Glad you like it. Lori, glad to catch you live. Great, much needed topic. Yeah, I know. The sleeping thing is a trip for sure. And it's amazing. It's amazing how interconnected all of our hormones are to each other. And if one's off, it just throws its partner off. It's sort of like the bicep, tricep kind of, thing where, you want to make sure that you're working both muscles together. So one's not out of balance. I mean, we'd hate to have big biceps and wimpy little triceps. We want to have a balanced body. And the same thing holds true with our hormones. When one is off, there's a reactionary thing that happens to its partner hormone. And in this case, it happens to be melatonin and insulin, and who knew, right? So making sure that those insulin levels are in control will really help us increase those melatonin levels, and that's going to help us sleep naturally. This is again why when we have that glass of wine at night, or that bowl of ice cream at night, or that sweet treat at night, we have trouble sleeping. Remember, all of those sweets are causing our insulin to be reactive, and that's going to cause a surge in insulin in our body, and then it's going to cause a plummet of melatonin, and that totally explains why we have insomnia when we're drinking that wine at the end of the night, or we are having that treat or that bowl of ice cream or whatever it is that we're doing. We are not able to sleep. Now it makes sense. Your insulin's up, your melatonin's going to drop down. Let's see. Are melatonin supplements a good thing to add? Do we lose production of melatonin as we age? Lori Ann, that's a good question. It seems like we lose production of most hormones as we age. I would say if you're having problems sleeping and you've tried all things, it might be worth it for you to try some melatonin. It doesn't work for me at all. I almost felt like it made my insomnia worse when I tried to add in melatonin. So I would say for me personally, I'm going to focus on just keeping my keto-like lifestyle really in check and not kid myself about that late night glass of wine or that late night bowl of ice cream. And just know that if I do have a glass of wine at night, I can't beat myself up for having a bad night's sleep. It's just the cause and effect of making that kind of decision. So I would say give it a try and see if it works for you. Diane, I do listen to my body. If I am very, very hungry in the AM, I just go ahead and eat. There you go, girlfriend. That's the way to do it. Abyss, when is your next class? It starts April 7th, and the link should be in the comment section. Kim from Carlsbad, welcome. I started doing this week at 16 hours. Is that good to start? That's a great place to start for sure, Abyss. Terry, I plan on adding 1 extra hour of fasting each week until I get to 20. I think that should be good for me to do. Yep, sounds great. Chamomile tea help? I don't know. I would say, chamomile tea can tend to be on the sweeter side of teas. So I don't know if that's going to be that thing that's going to cause you to have that insulin response. Remember, sweet flavors also cause us, can you hold it right there? Sweet flavors also cause us to have an insulin reaction. So I would say if you're having some insomnia problems, I would stay away from all sweet flavored things to end your night for sure. Just drink some sparkling mineral water, some mineral water. How your class works and what should I expect to learn? It's an online course. It runs for 3 weeks. You're going to learn everything you need to know about your body to be successful at intermittent fasting and living a keto-like lifestyle for sure. Kim, ice cream has the same effect as wine if late. Yep, sugar. Your body doesn't differentiate at all. I can eat at 3 p.m. and the next day at 3. How many days do this? I say fast any day you want to look and feel your best is my best advice. Tina from South Carolina, in March class and learning so much. Sleep has eluded me for years. Hope is in the future. Yeah, I think it is. Give it a shot for sure. Might join in April. What about heated water with lemon? Any negative effect? Lemon will take you out of a fasted state for sure. Amy, can we drink the occasional glass of wine or two? Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You just have to know that whatever decision you make is going to have a reaction in your body. So the best wine to consume, which has the lower sugar, amount, I guess, would be in it, is a Pinot Noir. And there's a really good one by Kim Crawford from New Zealand, which is very smooth. You can just tell that it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. So that's a good wine to drink in the evening. I would say I always recommend flanking wine with water too. So water, wine, water kind of thing, and just test it out and see how you feel. But just know anything that you're going to put in your body like that is going to make you not feel as great as if you didn't, is the best advice I can give you. In the March course, I've been consistent with 20-hour fast, but then sometimes eating for 5 or 6 hours. So then the next day, the 20-hour fast is shifted a bit. Yeah, you're going to have days like that. It's okay. It's not perfect science. Fast just once a week or 2 times. If you go back to the beginning of this, I said you want to be as consistent as you can so you can balance out your hormones. If you're fasting every other day, then your hormones are going to be like this because it's not going to know when you're going to feed it its next meal. So consistency is key in the beginning for sure. For sure. Malbec, I think, is low sugar. I doubt if Malbec is a low sugar wine. It's a really heavy red. You can just tell by the color. I would research it, but I'm going to say I doubt it. So let me know if you find out something different. Nikita, could you add the wine to your list of favorite things? Yeah, I don't think they sell it on Amazon. That's where that's all the stuff I find on Amazon. I looked at it in like a wine.com kind of thing, and the shipping on it was more expensive than the wine. So it's just Kim Crawford Pinot Noir from New Zealand is the best thing I could tell you. Just maybe look at some of your local stores. And it seems like everyone's able to find it. So I think it's a pretty mainstream one. Joy, welcome. Thanks for jumping on. Julie, hello. Tammy, hello. Katrina, it's been weeks since I've been on one of your lives. Oh, welcome back, Katrina. Thanks for jumping on. Amber, hello. Sharon, I've registered for the April course. Thanks for the special spring discount. Oh, Sharon, you're so welcome. Thanks for taking advantage of it. We love to offer discounts for you guys to be able to save a little to jump in. Diane, hello. Rachel, hello. Linda, hello. Christina from Minnesota, March course member, learning so much. Awesome. Nancy, welcome. Jillian, February, March course. When I did IF, I did not sleep well at all. Now I sleep as well as I did before fasting. Also seem to have balanced out my hormones and have started losing weight again after a plateau. Yeah, Jillian, it's so true. Everything's connected. There's a cause and effect for everything that we do. So super excited that you're starting to reap some of those benefits. And then Facebook, if you add me in the comments, remember you'll be put on our weekly email list. And then my YouTube people, if you want to get on my recipe list, jump on over to Facebook and you can like the page over there as well. And then that way you'll be on our email list for recipes and stuff like that too, and tips and tricks. Anna Marie from Portland, looking forward to the April course. I'm super excited to have you. Tammy, I've started oversleeping. Yeah, that's the scary part of sleeping well. You have to, there's days where I have to set the alarm and I wake up and it's like I'm waking up out of a dead sleep even after sleeping like 7 or 8 hours. And then there's other mornings that I just pop out of bed before the alarm comes off. But all in all, I think every night, the biggest benefit that Michael and I have been seeing is that we get really rested sleep, which is really nice. I've had problems sleeping for the first week, but slept great last week. I'm doing mainly 24. Yeah, that's the way to go, girlfriend, for sure. Jana, love this topic. Awesome. February and March group, I've been doing 24 most days. I exercise first thing in the morning and then don't eat until 5 p.m. Is that okay? Yeah, I say if your body can handle that, that's great. We have a lot of things going on in our life right now. We're going back to our clean fasting. We kind of took a week off from that because of our spring break. And I'm exercising really intensely this week. So I was ravenous at about, what was it, like 1:15, Michael? I was like, I have to eat. And I'm kind of like off today too, because I'm feeling like my blood sugar is really off, because I'm just like everybody else. When I go back to fasting by the book, or by the way I teach it, I guess I should say, after coming off of being really lax about it, my first couple of days are tough too. I have major hormone balances to get back into check. So I'm right there with you guys. The one thing about when you incorporate this as your lifestyle and you get some muscle behind it and you really get confident with what you're doing, it's really emotionally and mentally easy to jump back in when you've been out, because you already know what you're going to get on the other side of a couple of uncomfortable days. So I know by Wednesday I'm going to be totally fine again. So you have to just excuse me and all the like aloof things that I seem to be saying until I get to Wednesday for sure. Janet, thoughts on Swerve and Way low sweeteners? Sweeteners will take you out of a fasted state for sure. And I say once you get down to where you're a good 20 hours fasting, 4 hours of feasting, you really don't need a lot of sweeteners, because you're going to be more concerned about just eating real food. Diane, sadly, a month later, he slipped, hit his head, and passed away. Oh no, what was that? Did I miss something? Diane, crazy story. Years ago, Dr. Atkins on my flight, we chatted about his diet. He actually said, harder for women, ketosis due to hormones. Yeah, probably. But you'd have to define harder. I mean, what are you comparing that to? Harder than men? I think anything you do in the nutritional weight loss arena is harder than men. But all you have to do is just get things balanced out, and then before you know it, you're taking advantage of being in ketosis. So Kitty Cat, I got potassium magnesium tablets to help my sleep and reduce night sweats. Do I take these during a fasted or non-fasted state? I fast 20 hours a day. I would say the best thing to do would probably take them before you go to bed. That way they're in your system so you can get a good night's sleep. Could you add the wine? Okay, I already did that one. Okay, cool. Okay, so I apologize for the shakiness of the camera falling down. I totally hate when that happens. We have the best system we can get up to be able to do live broadcasts simultaneously, so it doesn't always work out perfectly, but thank you so much for understanding that, and we'll work on figuring out whatever it is that caused all that to happen today. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out there. Like I said, we are going back to hardcore fasting today, and I had a really intense workout this morning. I'm getting back into my running, and so I feel a little bit brain dead today. Hopefully Wednesday, my blood sugars will be regulated, and I'll be back to my vibrant fasting brain self, where I really feel my absolute best. So I go through the same things you guys go through when I jump off and I jump back in. So you're not alone. And that's why I totally understand when you guys are struggling as well, and appreciate what it is that you go through to get to the other side. So thank you so much for jumping in with me today. We will be back here Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you have a specific subject you would like me to talk about, please definitely reach out to me. Let me know, or you can leave it in the comment section, whether you're watching this live or on the rebroadcast. We do still have our spring discount price up. So if you guys want to join in for our April class, I say do it soon, because that price will be coming down when we go into our regular price probably in the next day or so. So take advantage of that spring discount. We have it there for you guys to take advantage of. And then we'll see you on Wednesday. If I don't hear anything from you, I think we might talk a little bit more about insulin and how it affects our body on our live broadcast on Wednesday. Thanks so much, you guys, and I will see you next time.